Well, hey y'all. Good evening, or yeah, it's evening. It's about 11 o'clock, or it's on midnight. It's morning, and my name is Willie Lawson. This is Spacewalk Production and the and Fightback Media. So we are here to have a quick word this evening before we wake up tomorrow and really sort of get a handle on what we are seeing today in our country. And that's really it. What are we seeing today in our country? We're seeing for the first time that an American president is being taken to court and being charged with felonies. As this former president is running for office again. So it's almost, I don't know how you don't think, I don't know how anybody doesn't think. Let me pull that to the side because my head's getting tired. I don't know how anybody doesn't think this is strictly political. I don't think, and I think Alvin Bragg and the judge and the left and MSNBC and CNN are all saying that it isn't, that this is about the rule of law. And all those things, because they have to say those things, because they have to say those things. I've said for many years that I am amazed by the ability of the left just to say stuff. They don't have to mean it. It doesn't have to be true, but they'll say it and they'll play what do they call it? Telephone use, and then everybody down the line says it. And it keeps coming back, it echoes back. This is about the rule of law, and nobody's above the law, and all that stuff. When everybody sees, and when anybody with two brain cells and one working synapse can see that this is just not what the left, or Democrats anyway, have ever really gave a crap about. Yes, it's midnight and I'm drinking coffee. Shut up and leave me alone. Don't judge, or judge, I don't care. My co-host is awake. Anyway, as it turned out, today an announcement was made that the jury would not come back with a verdict today, and then just a little bit later, there was an announcement. Yes, the jury has a verdict. There were 34 charges of some sort of improper filling out of forms. And so apparently, if that particular misdemeanor is trying to evade or cover up another crime, a felony, then these all turn into felonies. Now, they have to be looking. Now, from what I understand, now, if I'm not right, just go ahead wherever you're seeing this, write it in the comments. Because I didn't hop on this. I did not hop on this right away. I waited. I wanted to see. I wanted to read some stuff. I wanted to do a little research. So I wanted to make sure what I was saying was correct. Now, if for some reason I'm incorrect, just write it in the comments and correct me. In the improper filling out of these documents, they had to be covering up another crime. Now, the second, what we're calling the second crime. Now, I'm not sure. Now, if you're sure of what that second crime was, now, you can't say the second crime is that Donald Trump's a jerk. Donald Trump's a blah, 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 blah. It's got to be germane to this particular case. What was the second crime? Now, trying to, pay this girl to shut her trap, or at least to live up to her non-disclosure, that she signed her non-disclosure agreement. So, and a lot of people, especially celebrities make people sign, some celebrities make people sign NDAs to get an invite to a party. So if you get an invite to a party at a celebrity's house, if you go to Beyonce's or Diddy, well, anyway, or some of these people's houses, you have to sign an NDA. You have to sign a legally binding document that says that you won't talk about what you saw there. You know, frankly, I don't want to go to a party like that, but okay, that's fine. So it's not uncommon that celebrities do that. Not uncommon. So this porn star, Stormy Daniels, what a 1970s porn name is Stormy. Like some stripper in a bar, that the bar has carpet on it. You know, it's just anyway. Signed this NDA, and then for some reason, I guess, was making noise about coming out and releasing this story. This looks like, does it not look like blackmail to you? So they pay the money under the advice of Michael Cohen, Trump's fixer and attorney at the time, who ended up being the prosecution's star witness. Why is that? Well, I only have opinion on that. I don't have fact. I only have opinion. I'm going to share that opinion with you right now. It's opinion. Write it down. Opinion. I think because Michael Cohen didn't get a spot in the Trump White House, he was butthurt about it, and saw an opportunity that if he turned on his former employer, that he could make a whole lot of money. Just my opinion, because that's what it looks like to me. Me as a grown person looking at all this, completely from the outside. I don't have Michael Cohen's phone number or email address. I don't have Donald Trump's phone number or email address, or Stormy Daniels' email or phone number or her Twitter account or any of that stuff. But as an outsider, as a grown-up looking at these things through grown-up eyes, kind of looks like that to me, right? And it kind of looks like that to you too. I wanted to catch two articles from Town Hall, from their tip sheet. The first one is an article of the opinion of Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley, I think he's at George. Yes, he's at George. I knew that was. He's at George Washington University law professor. Basically, he had a pretty strong opinion. He says and he put this out on Twitter, X, whatever. I obviously disagree with this verdict, as do many others. Turley tweeted, saying that he believes that the case will be reversed eventually, either at the state or federal level. However, the George Washington University Law School professor added, this was the worst expectation for a trial in Manhattan. He says this. He says, I am saddened by the result more for the New York legal system than for the former president. I had hoped that the jurors might redeem the integrity of the system that had been used for political purposes. Stop. Because I think that too. Again, like I just said, I don't think anybody in their right mind can look at this and go, this is about the rule of law. No, this is about keeping Donald Trump from running for president again, being elected for president again. All of this, all what we saw in Georgia, what we see in New York, what we see around the country with trying to keep him off the ballot. And the problem is, people aren't buying it. People are saying, what the heck? Why can't we just have an election? If you think you can win, if you think you can win fair and square, let's go. If you think you can win. But I don't think they believe they can win. So part of the plan, part of the insurance, if you remember that word, is to find a way to keep Trump off the ballot, to keep him from being available to be president. So in an appearance on Fox News, Turley described the strange circumstances surrounding the convictions announcement. I mentioned that a little bit ago. Turley, who was there at the time of the verdict reading, called it one of the most bizarre moments he'd ever experienced in the courtroom. Judge Juan Merchan had just said the jury had not reached a decision and they'd be dismissed for the day. Okay? Some reporters started just gathering their stuff, and the split. Turley said, then upon returning to the bench, Merchan said that he was mistaken, producing a note that he'd received from the jurors announcing, we the jury have a verdict. So throughout this time, you can feel the building pressure in the courtroom. The one person that didn't seem to register was the former president, adding, Trump didn't show any emotion at all. This mantra of guilty verdict or just, what are you going to do? I think it's one of those things that really embodies the entire Trump era. There were people who were clearly thrilled by the result, and there were people who were saddened by it. I was saddened by it. I disagree with this verdict, Turley reiterated. He said this, I think, as I said before, that this case was legally unfounded. When they were reading those guilty verdicts, the one thing that we didn't know is really what he was found guilty of. Because you remember, the judge allowed the jury to find guilt on any one of 3 secondary crimes. This is the part, I'm going to stop with Turley's comments. This is a part that a lot of legal scholars, not just Trump supporters, but a lot of legal scholars are saying that this whole thing is ripe for reversal. Ripe. We weren't told, and back to what Turley's remarks were, he said, we weren't told whether the jury found any one of those crimes, whether they found all 3 of those crimes. I'm not sure we will know that. That's one of the many issues that I think presents reversible problems in this case, Turley assessed. Other legal analysts weighed in as well, including town hall columnist Phil Holloway, who said, Trump is now at the whim and mercy of Merchan, particularly whatever restraints he'll place on the former president's freedom, if he lets him remain free. He can send him to jail, he can put him on house arrest, he can give him probation, he can just make him pay a fine, or he can do nothing. But he's itching to humiliate Trump. So he'll find a way. Holloway remarked on Twitter the other day. Merchan did ask about bail status, and prosecution said there's no bail. Sentencing is scheduled for July 11th, 4 days out from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, where Trump will be selected as the party's nominee. Nothing in the Constitution currently precludes Trump from running for president in November. Trump is expected to appeal immediately. I think that if not today, Friday, or Monday right away, an appeal will be submitted, of course. So this is going up on appeal. For those upset by the verdict, remember this. This remains a country committed to the rule of law. You have to take a leap of faith in the rule of law. This is what defines us. Many people feel that this case embodies the antithesis of that. But as a country as a whole, we have a system in place to review this. For Donald Trump, that's not going to happen before the election in all likelihood. But let's keep in mind that this is not only court. This is not the only court. This is only the first one. And before I get to the other story, that makes me say this, folks. I know, because when I found out what the verdict was, I got an IM from a dear sweet friend of mine, and they were like they couldn't believe it happened, and they're frightened, they're scared, and there are people who are afraid, people who are extremely afraid. They're afraid for what might happen. They're afraid for their country. They're afraid. And other people are angry. And other people will use this as an excuse, I'm going to say it, to do something dumb. I was thinking about this on the way home tonight when I knew I was going to have to say something tonight. I'll tell you who they are. It's the same people who got caught up at on January 6th because you did something dumb and you got sucked in. I think that there were federal plants in the crowd from what all the video that I saw, to stir crap up. And you got caught up because you were so angry you couldn't see straight. And this whole idea of strategy is too complicated for you. So you went out and did some stupid stuff. Now, in doing that stupid stuff, what you've done is you didn't make things easier. You made things more difficult. So let's not, as hard as things are right now, let's do our level best. Please. Please. Let's do our level best. Not to make things any more difficult than they already are. Because they are difficult. Good Lord. So let's try not to make it more difficult than it is. Can we do that? Please? Anyway. So what about this whole muzzling of expert witnesses that would have blown a Saturn-sized hole through the prosecution's case? Trump was slapped with a gag order. The entire trial was unconstitutional mess from the start to the finish. Bragg argued that the COVID pandemic allowed these charges to be brought forward. The chaotic period suspended the statute of limitations. So COVID said, hey, when they should have brought this before, this was beyond the statute of limitations. But Bragg is betting that COVID sort of suspended time so they could get to this when they got to it. The liberal media thinks that Trump being a felon is a big deal. Fact of the matter is that a lot of people, and I keep saying this to you, a lot of people who have already decided, said it a long time ago, all this does is make Trump a more sympathetic figure. And I know some of you liberals can't understand what I'm saying. You don't get it. I know you don't get it. But the person who called me or hit me up on instant messaging on my way home at about 9 o'clock yesterday evening, when they get a chance to vote, they're going to vote for Trump. That's all there is to it. Trump is more sympathetic figure with Trump supporters now than he was yesterday. So the country doesn't care. Something the networks, number crunchers, Harry Inton highlighted before the verdict. No. Most think that Trump couldn't get a fair trial, and the rush to circumvent norms and make changes and make charges isn't lost on anyone. People see this. Very few people are fooled. A lot of people can look at this and go, well, yeah. It's kind of BS. And they don't support Trump. They don't like the dude. They don't think his policies work. They're not about the taxes. But they can see what happened to Trump is BS. Yes. So Biden's poll numbers are in the toilet. So the commentators say the president's strategy must shift towards making it all about Trump and not about his White House's accomplishments, because there aren't any. Michael Tracy tweeted this: "The jury has reached a verdict in the dumbest trial in American history." You can certainly argue that the 235-year-old gentleman's agreement that presidents are not convicted of crimes had to go, but to throw it out in such an insultingly ridiculous charges is just a slap in the face to all reason and good judgment. Even if the convictions are overturned on appeal, which is highly likely, the genie is out of the bottle. There's every reason to think tit-for-tat prosecutorial fishing expeditions will now become the norm in U.S. presidential politics. And this is from Michael Tracy. Michael Tracy is a liberal journalist. Now, what did we say? What did I say? You can go back to the Mueller reports, the audio Mueller reports. This tit for tat. Everybody's got to be impeached. This will become the norm. And that's what a banana republic is. There will be more liberal media reactions throughout the next couple of days, of course. There were the first tranche of insanity. I can't wait till these liberal clowns find out that Trump won't be jailed, even if given some jail time, should Judge Merchan decide to go that route. Sentencing will be on July 11th. But if we're going to, by precedent concerning the class of felonies Trump has been convicted of, jail time was seldom handed down. There will be appeals, and again, no one cares about Trump being nobody cares about that. We have anti-Trump Republicans who are now declaring they would crawl across broken glass to support Trump. Everyone sees through this charade. Everybody sees through this charade. Whatever the verdict, Trump only got stronger today. So the left can drool over the verdict, but it did help Trump. Coon Carroll tweeted, through two primaries and 2 general elections, I have never voted for Trump. I will crawl over broken glass to vote for him now. They've made him a sympathetic figure. The Trump donation page crashed after the guilty verdict. Wow. Folks, we are in uncharted territory. We are in uncharted territory for sure. It is my hope, it is my wish, my prayer, that cooler heads prevail. And again, that we don't make things more difficult for ourselves than they already are, because they're already difficult. We can all see what's happening. And going out and doing something dumb in the name of being a patriot is not the way to go. It's not the way forward. It is not. Because that, frankly, that option is always open. Let's exercise the rest of our options. Let's use what's left of our system. If we're so damn proud of it, and we are, let's use the rest of it. Let's use what's left of it. Now, I'm going to leave you here in a few seconds. But make sure that you come back and tune in later on this morning, because I got something to say that's going to piss you off. It's going to upset a lot of you. We didn't have to be here. We didn't. But some of y'all apparently wanted to be. So here we are. Anyway, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.